Feilu Novel Network exclusive contract novel. Me, Yuzhibo Lezi Ren, join group chat. Yuzhibo's Annihilation Night, but I have dimensional chat Junyang. That night was just right, the weasel came knocking on the door. I chopped off a mirror like water moon from my East Street to West Street. I don't know what an opponent is, poisonous tongue old fat. I understand the truth, what's going on between you and Jiuxinna. Sha Diao Master. Clear and innocent sibling relationship. I, Yuzhi Bo Wuyue, swear in the name of my ancestor Yuzhi Bo Ban that we are absolutely innocent. Otherwise, my ancestors will be struck by lightning and buried on the spot. Tip. Add the small cotton jacket between the pillars to the sheep. Sand Sculpture Master. The man of hair gel hands. Poisonous tongue old fat. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001 Annihilation Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The night sinks like water. The residence of Uchiha is filled with corpses. The crimson-eyed Uchiha Itachi squatted on a pillar in the center of the courtyard, looking around. He is searching for a fish that has escaped the net. Tonight, except for his own brother, he will not let any Uchiha people live. Is it there? With a slight movement in his eyes, Uchiha Itachi seemed to notice and his figure disappeared into place. Appearing again, it is already an abandoned wall. A pretty girl with long hair draped over her shoulders was looking at him with a complex expression on her face. Itachi, why? You won't understand, Quan. The weasel slowly drew out the blade from behind, and the windmill pattern in its crimson pupils slowly rotated. He has already killed his parents and relatives with his own hands, and of course, he will not let go of the girl in front of him. Even though, I have a vague liking for her. Sigh. Just then, a sigh suddenly sounded. Yuzhi Bo Itachi's expression froze and his gaze turned to the sound source. What caught the eye was a young man with a head of black hair. He was wearing a white kimono, with a handsome face and fair skin. A long green knife with a handle hung around his waist, his hands inserted into his sleeves, and he looked like a young man stepping on the moon. But for some reason, this young man was still wearing a pair of indecent black-framed glasses on his face, which greatly damaged this sense of beauty. No months. Uchiha no moon. Yuzhi Bo Itachi and Yuzhi Bo Quan both had a slight expression of surprise on their faces. The latter is surprised by the other person's clothing and attire, while the former did not expect the dead to be able to be resurrected. That's right. The Uchiha Wuyue in front of him must have been killed by himself, and he clearly remembers that his long sword had penetrated the opponent's heart. But what's going on with this guy in front of me? Forget him, Quan. Wuyue's eyes at this moment were like a sad and melancholic boy, looking up at the moon and saying, from now on, I will steal an electric scooter to raise you. Itachi and Quan both showed a bewildered expression on their faces. The wind tonight is a bit noisy. Wuyue still maintained a posture of looking up at the sky, as if she didn't notice that Yuzhi Bo Itachi across from her had already rushed towards her with a long sword in hand. Wuyue, be careful. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue issued a loud warning, but it was already too late by now. The long sword pierced through Wuyue's chest without any obstruction, piercing into his heart. But at this moment, Uchiha Itachi instinctively felt something was wrong. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue in front of him lowered his head and smiled at him. Pushi. Blood splatter. Itachi knelt on one knee and looked at his waist and abdomen in disbelief. A deep scar appeared, soaking his clothes. Wuyue, who was originally standing opposite him, now stands behind him and gently shakes the bloody blade in her hand. The night is really beautiful, isn't it? Without even looking at Yuzhi Bo Itachi kneeling on the ground, he looked at Yuzhi Bo Quan with a smile on his moonless face, who was in a confused state. Little girl, do you want to come and enjoy this beautiful scenery with me? At first, Quan was stunned, then he reacted and the corner of his mouth twitched fiercely. I'm your sister. Although I said so, I still reached out and grabbed the other person's palm. Even if it's just a sister without blood ties, that's still sister. In front of Wuyue, she grew up in her own family. How could siblings? That's probably not possible. Mike Shueijia won't agree. Wuyue blinked at her. What do you call my mother, this guy? Quan looked at him angrily, and then his expression showed pain again. Mom, she's already. She witnessed her mother's tragic death with her own eyes, and then opened the 3 Goyu. If possible, she doesn't want to open her eyes in this way. I'll do you a magic trick. Wuyue flipped her wrist and the blade turned downwards. Break it up, mirror flower and water moon. Pak Leng. The sound of mirrors shattering rang out, and the scene in front of me suddenly changed. Most of the corpses scattered throughout the long street have disappeared, leaving only a few corpses wearing dark vests. What's going on here? Quan's eyes widened in disbelief. No. It's impossible. Uchiha Itachi was also emotionally excited and had a shocked expression. My sword, with its ability to fully hypnotize the mirror like water and moon. Wuyue pushed her glasses with a calm expression, but because the frame was too large, she almost fell off her face. Simply put, it can dominate the opponent's 5 senses, making them fully believe in the appearance, form, quality, touch, and even smell of a specific object that my master hopes for. Complete hypnosis. Dominating the 5 senses. Both Quan and Itachi's expressions were full of shock, gasping for breath. How could there be such terrifying abilities in this world, and the source of these abilities is still weapons? Don't treat the soul-slaying blade as a dead object, it's alive. Wuyue lightly caressed the blade and smiled. To use its ability, it needs to undergo a hypnosis ceremony. Well, that's just to see the liberation of this blade. Have you seen the liberation of this knife? Yuzhibo Itachi seemed to have thought of something, his face full of surprise. Ah, that's right. Wuyue nodded with a smile and said, the clan meeting the day before yesterday was convened by me on behalf of Chief Fuyue. After all, you are usually active in the dark, so it's not easy for you to come back. Yuzhibo Chuan thought of another layer and took a breath. So, you already knew Itachi would do such a thing. I'm not the only one who knows this. Wuyue didn't deny it, looking sideways. Right, Lord Huiying. In the dark shadows, the silhouette of the 3rd-generation Hokage monkey flying sun slayer gradually emerged. Of course. The people who came were not just him, but also his left and right arms, close friends, Jitsu and Tuanzang. And many members of the Root and Dark Forces, as well as more than 10 members of Konoha's upper ninja. Kakashi, Meki, Shirihong, Red Bean, they are all familiar faces. I'm glad to see you, Wuyue greeted with a gentle smile on her lips. At the same time, he patted Quan's palm, indicating that the other party did not need to be nervous. Yuzhibo has no moon. Ape Flying Sun / took a breath and called out the boy's name. Yes, Lord Hokage. Wuyue leaned slightly, expressing a ninja's respect for Hokage. Tell me, what's going on here? Did you do what made Itachi look like this? I am enforcing the family law, Lord Hokage. Uchiha Itachi openly killed the clan leader, but after I found out, he refused to be arrested. It is only natural for me to enforce the family law against him here, isn't it? What? Except for Ape Flying Sun / and Tuanzang, all the other Konoha ninjas were shocked. Uchiha Itachi killed his old father. What is this picture? Monkey Flying Sun furrowed his brows and looked at Yuzhibo Itachi with a dull expression in his eyes, then turned his gaze to Wuyue. Do you have any evidence that Itachi killed his father? Lord Huiying, I. Wuyue stopped Quan, who wanted to speak up as a witness, and smiled slightly. Evidence, I think Lord Hokage and the team's advisor should have already understood it, right? The style of the 002 Villainous boss. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Hiss. Upon hearing these words, all the ninjas in Kiba couldn't help but be surprised and gasped for breath. What does this Uchiha no Moon mean? His words clearly turned the blame on Lord Huiying and the advisor of Tuanzang. The team's advisors will not mention it for now. They believe that Lord Hokage would never do such a thing. Lord Hokage is the Hokage of their wooden leaves, a perfect example of the will of fire, with both virtue and artistry, and high elegance and integrity. How could he secretly attack the clan leader of Uchiha? It's impossible. Defamation. This damn Uchiha no Moon, how could he slander their Lord Hokage? The Konoha ninjas stared fixedly at Wuyue, their faces full of anger. Only Kakashi's eyes were flickering, as if lost in thought. Humph, even a little ghost dares to speak nonsense here. Jitsuin Tuanzang's face was gloomy, and his cane knocked on the ground. Go, take him down for me. If you dare to resist, kill him. Yes. The root members behind Tuanzai responded to orders, holding Kowu and ninja swords, and charged straight towards Wuyue. Although the order given by Lord Tuanzang is to take down and dare to resist in order to kill. But they, as subordinates, are very clear that their own boss has actually taken a heart attack. So without any hesitation, these root members directly used their killing moves. Ninjutsu, suffering without mercy, wielding a dazzling sword without any mercy. One of the members of the root seemed to have caught Wuyue's flaw and directly stabbed his back with a ninja knife in his hand. You. Wuyue was caught off guard and looked surprised. Got it. The corners of the mouth under the mask of this root member curved into a cruel smile, and their eyes also revealed a pathological twisted pleasure. Wow, you really hit hard. A gentle voice sounded, and the members of the grassroots were shocked. But the young man from the Uchiha family, who should have been ambushed by them, now appeared on their right side with a mocking smile on his lips. And in their eyes, the target that should have been ambushed by the root member has now become their group leader. Well, how could? The members of the grassroots were trembling with fear, and their expressions under the mask fell into a state of dullness. Tuanzang. Seeing this scene, Ape Flying Sun / was also shocked and gasped for breath. What's going on? What the hell is going on? The ninjas present were also full of disbelief on their faces. They clearly saw that the one being attacked was Wuyue, but in a daze, they turned into a group advisor. Pushi. The sword blade drew a brilliant silver arc in mid-air, and the members at the base were bleeding profusely, falling to the ground. Shwa. Wuyue's graceful movements shook the blood on the blade and drew it back to its scabbard. Is this the mirror like water and moon? Yuzhi Bo Itachi seemed to have some enlightenment, his face complex. You seemed to be explaining to me the power of your knife just now, but in reality, it was for a hypnosis ceremony. I understand so quickly. Wuyue smiled gently, her eyes full of praise. You truly deserve to be the Itachi Jun with the Hokage thinking. This statement sounds full of irony to Uchiha Itachi. And even if I understand, it's impossible to break the game with this seemingly unsolvable ability. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue, what exactly is your purpose? At this moment, Monkey Flying Sun / also felt the difficulty, and he was wary of using the mouse. His close friends and relatives were still in each other's hands. I should ask you this question, Lord Huiying. Wuyue walked up to the hiding place, pinching his cheek with her right hand and reaching out to his right eye with her left hand. Tearing open the gauze from the package, he directly pulled out his eyeballs. Ah! Tuanzang let out a mournful scream, which moved everyone immensely. But when they saw the crimson eyeball in Wuyue's hand, their eyes turned into astonishment again. Is this writing will I? Tuanzang consultant, where did you get it from? Tuanzang. Ape Flying Sun roared in anger as he rushed forward, waving his big stick in his hand. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue, you're going too far. Tuanzang is his close friend, relative, and friend. He could not have just watched so cruelly. Oh, Wuyue flipped her wrist, and the crimson eyeball disappeared directly into her palm. Looking at the monkey flying sun / with a smile, he said, I advise you not to brag, as it will make you appear weak. Bang! The big stick fell directly onto Wu Yu's head, making a huge muffled sound. How could this be possible? Ape Flying Sun, holding a stick, widened his eyes and saw Wu Yu on the other side completely blocking his attack with just one hand. The strong wind is blowing everywhere, and the white clothes are flying. The corners of Wuyue's mouth are slightly curved, calm and relaxed. The scene also made all the Konoha ninjas present gasp for breath, their faces full of disbelief. If he had used the ability called Mirror Flower Water Moon, that would have been fine, but at this moment he is clearly useless. With just one palm of his own, he was able to block the powerful and heavy attack of Lord Huiying. Puff! The knife light flashed by, and the body of the monkey flying sun slayer slowly fell down. His eyes were wide open, and his face was filled with a strong sense of self-harm that was beyond doubt. Lord Huiying! Damn it, you bastard! The ninjas of Kiba couldn't hold back and tried to move forward, but were stopped by Kakashi with his body. Don't be impulsive, Lord Hokage is not dead. There is no need to doubt it at all, these people must have also fallen for that terrifying illusion. At this point, rushing up is mostly for delivering groceries, and there is also a possibility of accidentally injuring teammates. No month. Taking a breath, Kakashi walked out of the crowd. I don't know what Itachi, Lord Hokage, and Elder Tanzang have done to your Uchiha clan, and I won't persuade you to give up revenge. However, if you want to continue to harm the village, please step over my body. Me too. Shirihong also stood up, her eyes very complicated. There are also Red Bean, Might-Kai, Yamashiro Aoba. The Konoha ninjas present seem to be ready to sacrifice their lives for Konoha. They know that their power cannot stop Wuyue, and the power of Jinghua Shueiyue is too bug. Even apart from the fleeting beauty of the mirror, the strength of Wuyue itself is also immeasurable. As strong as the third-generation Hokage, he was instantly killed by the opponent. If such a existence really wants the village to cause any damage, no one is likely to be able to stop it. But Kakashi and these people still stood up because they were part of the Wooden Leaf. Interestingly, your behavior gives me a villainous boss vibe. Wuyue curved her mouth and flipped her long sword in her hand. At this point, shouldn't I come first to kill my sister and preach in a more appropriate way? As she spoke, her gaze meaningfully turned to Shirihong. The girl didn't speak, just silently looked at Wuyue. The gaze was firm, but the emotions revealed were not hidden. Tisk, forget it. Wuyue couldn't bear the look and turned her head helplessly. Time is running out. What? The faces of the Konoha ninjas showed surprise, but two figures suddenly appeared on the side of the moon like flashes. Wuyue Jun, I have received Sasuke. 003 I will stand in the sky. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Two figures, one big and one small, the smaller one is a boy, about 7 or 8 years old, looking very cute, but his small face is full of confusion in confusion. He is Uchiha Sasuke, the youngest son of Uchiha clan leader. And the larger one is a bright and charming girl. The brown hair is aligned with the ears, and a warm smile hangs on the face like sunshine. How could that be? Seeing the girl's appearance, Kakashi was completely bewildered and looked incredulous. Lin. Not only him, but the other ninjas also had their eyes wide open. These people have more or less had contact with Zhang and Lin, so naturally they won't admit it wrong. The girl in front of me is Lin, who has already died, but why? Is it a rebirth of filth? Kakashi is aware of this technique, and he has studied Tuanzang before, having stayed at the root. However, the appearance of the reincarnated person in the dirt is different from that of the living person after all. Lin in front of him is alive, just like before or when he was alive. Wait, there seems to be a slight difference. Kakashi keenly noticed that Lin's forehead and both sides of her ears were covered with a strange white substance. It doesn't affect aesthetics, but these characteristics can still be seen. Long time no see, Kakashi-jun. Lin waved her hand and greeted Kakashi, Zirihong, and others, and everyone from Mai. Is it really Lin? You didn't die. Wait. Lin's appearance and body seem to have remained unchanged from before. Red Bean seemed to be very concerned about this aspect and directly point out the key points. Did you notice? Lin blinked at her and said, I'm already dead. I shouldn't be considered a living person now. Strictly speaking, I should be called Pamion now. Breaking the surface. Everyone looked bewildered, and this word was too unfamiliar to them. Lin, is your current state controlled by Wuyue? Kakashi still decided to interpret the current state of No-era Lin with a state of rebirth from dirt. Since it is the reincarnation of the filth, as the caster, Moki should also be the controller of No-era Rin. No, Wuyue-jun is a good person, said Yi Yuan Lin with a dazzling smile, indicating that she was completely sincere. He won't impose his own will on others. However, she didn't see it. Standing behind, Wuyue, who was originally explaining her current situation to Sasuke, suddenly twitched at the corner of her mouth. God is so good, can this word be used indiscriminately? Are you saying? Kakashi seemed to have thought of something, his expression somewhat incredulous. Well, I made my own decision to help Wuyue-jun. No-era Lin nodded with a smile and said, I'm doing well here, Kakashi-jun, don't worry. Lin, you. Kakashi could hear that the other person was sincere, but he found it difficult to understand. Lin used to love the village so much, even willing to sacrifice her own life. But why did you make such a choice now? There's no need for flattery, Kakashi. The air twisted and the man with a vortex mask on his face suddenly appeared, standing on the side roof. Lin will no longer return to your hypocritical wooden leaf. Who are you? Kakashi's face showed solemnity, and there was another guy who couldn't feel the depth. Humph, you don't deserve to know my name, said the vortex mask man in a cold and aloof tone. Are you actually a person without a moon? Uchiha Itachi felt very upset when he saw the masked man appear. Although we agreed to eliminate the Uchiha clan together, did you end up being an undercover agent? I'm not someone, I'm just doing what I want to do, the masked man sneered and said, the ultimate goal is to eliminate this hypocritical wooden leaf and cleanse this dirty ninja world. Daitu, have you started again? Lin frowned and looked at him, saying, have you finished the task? Ah, I've already taken Aunt Mei-chin and the others back. The masked man instantly broke through and scratched his head. Dirty. Kakashi's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. Stupid Kakashi. Yuzhibo took off the mask on his face with soil, revealing the slightly disharmonious face on both sides. If it weren't for Lin, you probably wouldn't have known my identity in your lifetime. Is it really you? Kakashi took a breath, unsure of what expression to use. Why has it turned out like this now, even though it was a major crisis for Konoha? What kind of family recognition scene is this? Should I feel happy or painful now? Kakashi's thoughts were very chaotic at the moment, but he heard Wuyue whispering, it's time to go. Where are you going? Kakashi regained consciousness and stared at the two friends in front of him. With a cold snort, he turned his face and seemed to disdain an answer. Lin still smiled and said softly, go where we should go, Kakashi-jun. Buzz. The air vibrated and let out a soft roar. Amidst the stunned, and incredulous gazes of the ninjas, a huge opening was torn open in the sky. Vaguely, several figures could still be seen standing at the edge of the crack. Red-haired, is that family emblem the Whirlpool clan? How could this be? Aren't they exterminated? That person is the hero of Shayin Village. Burning escape envoy Yitsang. What are those monsters wearing masks? Apart from these human figures, there are also terrifying monsters that appear as if wearing a white mask and a pointed nose. Click. Several golden beams of light pierced through the crack, enveloping Wuyue, Quan, Sasuke, Daitu, and Lin. Boom. The soil on the ground shattered, and the figures of several people began to gradually rise. At this moment, Monkey Flying Sun finally woke up from a brief coma and stared at Wuyue, shouting loudly, Uchiha Wuyue, what do you really want to do? Of course, it's to move towards a higher realm. With a commanding tone, Wuyue remained indifferent. What is a higher realm? The ninjas below looked bewildered, feeling that the realm of Wuyue was already high enough. With just one person, they can make their entire wooden leaf powerless to fight back. You will only fall into corruption if you resort to any means. Tuanzang roared angrily. His eyes, the other gods he had painstakingly obtained. Damn it, damn it. You're too arrogant, Tuanzang. Wuyue took off the black-framed glasses on her face and gently crushed them. Comb your hair behind you. From the beginning, no one has been standing in the sky. Whether it's you, me, or God, but the empty window period of the sky throne has ended. Next, I will stand in the sky. 004 said it very well, don't say anything more. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chuanji Kingdom, Blackstone City. The black void opened in the center of the city, and the figures of a few people walked out of the void. Lord Wuyue. Lord Wuyue is back. The leader really made Muye lose face this time. The crowd gathered around them and welcomed them, with a cheerful smile on their faces. Thank you all for your hard work. Wuyue didn't show any airs, and her smile was also gentle. We will have a meeting later to discuss the next plans and directions for the country of Shimonoseki. Yes, everyone agreed. Also, bring these big virtual animals back to the factory. Wuyue pointed to the silly standing Killian and said, just put on a posture and scare the children when they turn around on the roadside. Several ninjas from the Vortex clan were ordered to open the sealing scroll and seal Kiryan inside, then turn around and leave. Is this the kingdom of Sichuan? Looking at the environment in front of him, Quan was completely bewildered. 2 years ago, when she was on a mission, she came to this country. At that time, there were starving people everywhere, and her eyes were filled with decay. But now, clean streets, spacious housing, people wearing neat clothes, and happy smiles on their faces. Is this still the country of Sichuan in her impression? Yuzhi Bo Ban looked at Wuyue in front of him, feeling very unfamiliar. She knew that the significant changes in the Chuanji Congress were definitely related to her younger brother, but she really couldn't figure out how the other party did it. Sasuke. Spring. In the crowd, 2 mature women waved to this side. Sasuke and Izumi's eyes lit up immediately, and they quickly welcomed them in unison. Mom. Wuyue didn't disturb the reunion of the 2 families, then glanced at Daitu, who was trying to please Lin, and turned towards the central building. Mr. Wuyue, he pushed open the office door and saw a red-haired woman dressed as a workplace woman standing there, softly saying, "Thank you for your hard work. Do you want to cure the demon?" The woman's name is Swirlpool Lina, and she was brought back by Wuyue who snatched it from Charan village. My husband has died, and I have a daughter named Xiangli. That's right. She is the poor woman in the original work who was sucked into a human being in Charan village. Bringing her back by Wuyue can be considered a great achievement. As for whether to supplement or not, Wuyue doesn't really care. Mainly, Rina's mother is more enthusiastic and proactive. He doesn't want to make others feel cold. Cough. She coughed lightly, and Wuyue lowered her voice. I have some business to attend to now. I'll come to you later. Okay. Rina nodded wisely and left the room, gently closing the door. Ha. Wuyue collapsed onto the sofa by the window, lightly tapping her fingers, and a light curtain appeared in front of her. Familiar interface, familiar style. No matter how many times I have seen it, Wuyue has a sense of returning to her past life when facing it. That's right. This thing is the golden finger he obtained when he traveled to this world, and it is also the capital for him to settle down. The full name is Sha Diao Netizens Exchange Group. There are not many members inside, including the group leader Wuyue, only 3. Wuyue, the most advanced member of the group, automatically obtained the identity of group leader. After waiting for 8 years, Xia Laofei finally came in. Then, 6 months ago, Blue Dai joined the group. Now that Wuyue is 13 years old, she and Xia Laofei should be considered childhood friends in the form of netizens. But in reality, it's not. 5 years of time have passed on Wuyue's side, and only half a month has passed on Xia Laofei's side. In layman's terms. When Wuyue was 8 years old, she met Xia Laofei, who was 16 years old. Now that Wuyue is 13 years old, she is still 16 years old. This is not a childhood sweetheart at all, it's more like the other party is playing a game of Zhengtai cultivation. According to the explanation of Eisen, the time flow rate and rules of each world are different. Only when group chat is on, time will be completely synchronized. Tip. The sand sculpture group leader has closed the live broadcast room. The duration of this live broadcast is 60 minutes. Audience. 2 people. You will receive 120 points. Sand sculpture group leader. How did it go, brother? Did the performance just now go well? Poisonous tongue old fat. Well, I can give you 10. Sand sculpture group leader. Full score. Poisonous tongue old fat. A perfect score of 100. Sand sculpture group leader. Sleeping trough, is it so bad? Poisonous tongue old fat. If it weren't for your face, you wouldn't even have a very big one. In other words, it's because you have this face that you're worth a lot. Do you understand what I mean? Sand sculpture group leader. Xia Laofei, you have gone too far. Poisonous tongue old fat. Well, it's only 5 points now. Sand sculpture group leader. I'm too lazy to tell you, what does range think? Hair gel hand man. Not bad. Although there are many flaws in the details, the other party is not oneself, so Eisen did not correct them. Sha Diao group leader. I'll just say that Brother Ran understands me. What is Xia Laofei, spicy chicken? Poisonous tongue old fat. Huh, now even the wife of a pervert dares to mock others casually. Sand sculpture group leader. What are you talking about with a hammer? Poisonous tongue old fat. Still pretending to be with me. Do you really think I don't know what it means to replenish demons? Sand sculpture group leader. I think everyone has the right to pursue love. You cannot completely deny someone's love just because they are the mother of a child. This is a moral kidnapping. Poisonous tongue old fat. This shameless face deserves to be you. Sand sculpture group leader. We are currently short of a printing factory. Can you help us? Don't worry, there are those who invest in dividends. Poisonous tongue old fat. Who cares so much about your dividends? Your money from the ninja realm cannot be used by me here. You shameless old thief, you even cheated me out of the hard-earned manuscript fee. Sand sculpture group leader. It's easy to say, easy to say. Everyone teaches well. I, Yuzhi Bo Wuyue, have been able to achieve today thanks to everyone's efforts and cultivation. Poisonous tongue old fat. Hair gel hand man. You said it very well, Wuyue Jun. Please don't say anything more. He has lived for over 100 years and has never seen such a speechless guy. Let's not talk about his personality traits for now, let's just look at what he did in the kingdom of Sichuan. It sounds good to say. In just nearly half a year, the entire country of Sichuan was built in an orderly manner from scratch, and even a complete industrial chain was established, achieving remarkable and admirable results. However, Wanran doesn't know how to roast about his way of getting rich. Inducing group members to invest in building a factory, claiming it was a stock dividend system, and ultimately distributing it to others in the form of ninja coins, the factory is empty and lacks labor, so I borrowed Daxu from myself to enter the factory. Nima, is this something that carbon-based organisms can do? Even Blue Dye never thought of such an operation, it's so amazing. Sha Diao Group Leader. Cough, you all misunderstood me. This country of Buchuan has just started, and now there is nothing to be done. You must believe me, today's efforts are tomorrow's gains. I, Yuzhi Bo Wuyue, am by no means an ungrateful person. If you don't believe me, I can swear in the name of our ancestor of the Uchiha family, Uchiha Ban, here. 005 Stupid Soil. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Poisonous tongue old fat. The man of hair gel hands. Sand sculpture group leader. What's wrong? Am I not sincere enough to swear with my ancestors? Poisonous tongue old fat. Sincere ghost. If Yuzhi Bo Ban saw you so filial, he would probably jump out of the coffin and smash your head in an instant. Sand sculpture group leader. How could that be? I respect him so much. Poisonous tongue old fat. Ah, yes, respected. You have to spit every day, right? Sand carving group leader. Shiyu sauce. Poisonous tongue old fat. Why are you calling me that? It sounds quite cheesy. Oh, goosebumps have started. On the surface, it may seem like this, but in reality, Xia Zhiqiu Shiyu's cheeks turned red, and his cerebellum couldn't help but start thinking about it. Does this guy feel sorry for himself and want to compensate in another way? Should I agree then? But agreeing to him like this is a bit hasty, isn't it? Xia Zhiqiu Shiyu, who was worried in her heart, couldn't help but start shaking her legs. Even with her black beautiful legs tied up, layers of waves couldn't help but rise. A man who came to drink coffee with his girlfriend next to him couldn't help but stare straight, and then he was slapped back into reality by his girlfriend. Xia Zhiqiu Shiyu didn't pay attention to the gaze of these men, or rather, he had already become accustomed to it. Staring intently at the light curtain in front of me, I wanted to see how someone would respond. Sha Diao Group Leader. Shiyu sauce, listen to my advice. In the future, speak less of the big truth. You can't do this. In the future, if you want to find a male friend, just tell them the truth and they won't be able to accept it. Learn to be tactful, do you understand what I mean? Deliberate. Poisonous tongue old fat. I'll be gentle with your sister. After brewing in my heart for a while, I ended up giving her this. Damn it, you really can't expect this bastard group leader. I'm so angry that I went to school. Turn off the group chat and stand up directly to leave the coffee shop. Sand sculpture group leader. Unexpectedly went offline directly. Say 2 words without saying anything. Hair gel hand man interesting. Sand sculpture group leader. Hair glue hand man. It's nothing, just a little lamented. It turns out that Wu Jun is also not good at dealing with things. Sand sculpture group leader. Hey, don't make me so omnipotent, okay? I'm just an ordinary person. Hair gel hand man. Ah, let's just treat you like that. Ordinary people have ghosts. Although the means of making a fortune in the kingdom of Chuanji are not very legitimate, as they are full of deceit, fraud, and deception, it is still necessary to have the ability to develop a poor country within 6 months. Even if we don't talk about these things. It is not something ordinary people can do just to gather up the scattered ninja tribes like the Vortex Legacy and allow them to fully integrate into the kingdom of Chuanji in a short period of time, and to sincerely respect the young leader, Wuyue. Thinking of this, Aizen couldn't help but recall the slogan from the beginning when the kingdom of Chuan was just starting. The kingdom of Chuan is not the same person, the kingdom of Chuan. Chuanjiguo is the Chuanjiguo of all the people of Chuanjiguo. This sentence is simple to read, but its vision, meaning, and thoughts are extremely profound. Even if placed in the soul realm, it can be applied. So, let me see how far you can go. With a smile on her lips, Aizen closed the group chat interface in front of her, picked up the sealing technique scroll uploaded by Wuyue, and began researching with great interest. He is also very curious about the extraordinary power of another world. When I first joined the group, I studied the essence and characteristics of chakras. I have gained a lot, and those Daxu who were sent to the ninja realm are research products. Void and death were originally intangible things. They are like evil spirits and ghosts in human legends, invisible and intangible. But these great illusions in the ninja world can not only be captured by the ninjas with their naked eyes, but also be touched and sealed by them. These are all the results of blue dyeing transformation. He perfectly blended chakra and Daxu. Sand sculpture group leader. So, now I'm the only one left. Can you two show a little bit of respect to the group leader? With a murmur of roast, Wuyue also turned off the chat group interface. Standing up, ready to find Rena's mother to fix the magic. Suddenly sensing something again, I quickly sat back on the sofa. Sister, are you awake? On Wuyue's chest, a semi-transparent thin figure floated out leisurely and nodded at him. This figure is covered in wine-red hair and fluttering, wearing a plain white kimono. She looked pretty and looked at Wuyue with a teasing expression, clearly knowing what he was going to do. This semi-transparent figure is the wife of Vortex Jiuxinna, the fourth-generation Hokage of Kiba. Wuyue originally had no interaction with her, until one day she had a big belly and stuffed a piece of candy into her hand. Pretending to eat her candy, I will recognize her as my elder sister in the future. At that time, Jie earnestly said that for a cute boy like Wuyue, he needed an Jie who could cover him up to watch him grow strong. Then, Jie went on her own. At the Battle of Nine Tails, Wuyue was still young and her golden fingers were not fully awakened, unable to save Jie and her husband. It wasn't until half a year ago when Aizen joined the group that Wuyue truly gained the power to change her destiny. Sister's soul was also reincarnated from the Pure Land by him, but her husband couldn't be found. The soul is in the belly of death, but the body is gone. Digging 3 feet in the tomb of the fourth generation with soil, only an empty coffin was found. Wuyue probably took away the local specialty of the fourth generation Hokage corpse while Orochimaru was defecting. Although Daitu stated that he would definitely make Orochimaru pay the price and retrieve the body of the teacher. But 2 months have passed now, and apart from the first time that Orochimaru ran away, I have never heard any news from him about Orochimaru again. This damn love brain is now covered in Lin's eyes. It's quite speechless. Wuyue secretly confides in himself that Jiuxinna has come to him. Raise both arms in a jawed and clawed manner, looking very angry. Cough, it's all gone. Wuyue glanced at the other person's collar and felt a bit hot. Seeing his expression, Jiuxinna's eyes became even more playful. It seemed like I had some mischievous idea to play with, and my whole light and floating body lay on Wuyue's head, hugging and gnawing on it. Hiss, sister. Don't do it. In order to nourish Jiuxinna's soul, Wuyue has always placed her in the broken jade in her heart. So in the past 6 months, the two of them have been in a symbiotic state, without distinguishing each other. The two of them had never known how many times they had met honestly, and Jiuxinna didn't think such a prank was too much. Wuyue, I have something to say to you. The air spiral began to twist, and the figure with soil gradually appeared. Then, take a panoramic view of the scene before you. Join the group with the small cotton jacket between the 006 pillars. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Kingdom of Sichuan, Chief's Office. Oh, are you saying that Changmen wants to have a face-to-face meeting with me? Wuyue nodded slightly and said, no problem, where is the location? The wilderness of the rain country. With a dull expression, he said indifferently, they may indeed be planning to talk, but they probably want to try your weight too. You should be prepared. No problem, I'm quite strong, Wuyue blinked and said, but you actually care about me, Tuesday. Shut up. With a twitch at the corner of his earthy mouth, he broke through his defense and said, they all said you shouldn't use that strange title. Wuyue nodded. Okay, ATU. You bastard. Who would care about you? Don't act too sentimental there. Yuzhibo's teeth itched with a rustic aura. If it weren't for being unable to fight, he would have already pressed the other person to the ground and smashed his hammer. Just like how this guy treats himself. Think about 4 months ago, this guy found himself and said he could resurrect Lin to make up for his regret. At that time, Dai Tu was not joy, but anger, like the anger of being touched against scales. He doesn't believe that Wuyue can do it, and at the same time, he doesn't want Wuyue to do it in his heart. If Lin could be resurrected so simply, what would be the reason for his long and crazy efforts? Daitu didn't want to become a clown, so he chose to kill Wuyue. Then, he was hit on the ground by the other party that day, and it was very painful, unprecedented pain. This kind of pain not only comes from the body, but also from the soul. This kind of pain also seems to awaken the soil sinking into the abyss. In the end, he decided to cooperate with the other party. Yes, yes. Wuyue leaned back on the chair, crossing her hands. So, has Black and White decided to cooperate? Since he has collected the soil, he will certainly not let it go. Whether it's White or Black, they are both very useful and convenient employees. And there's no need to eat, drink, or have sex, it's simply the first choice for gold medal workers and unscrupulous bosses. Wuyue doesn't think she's an unscrupulous boss, but Chuanji Kingdom is still waiting for improvement. Everyone is putting in a little more labor for a better tomorrow in the ninja realm. Since they were locked up by you, they have been trapped in autism, murmured Tudi in a low voice. But it's a Fei, who seems to have an intention to cooperate. Is it the whirlpool face white Jew who has a good relationship with you? Wuyue nodded and said, ask him what conditions he has, and if it's not excessive, try to satisfy him as much as possible. Well, he just wants an independent free space to complete the creation of his artistic works. The expression with a hint of soil is somewhat difficult to describe. So what kind of artistic work, in other words, it's just a bunch of feces. Artworks. Well, a work of art. Dai Tu and Wuyue looked at each other and fell silent together. Okay, promise him. Wuyue took a breath and didn't ask further. Nodding with soil, he got up and walked to the door. After a pause in her body, she hesitated and asked, Wuyue, you and Master Jiuxinna. I'll sue you for defamation if you talk so recklessly, said Wuyue with a serious expression and a serious tone. My relationship with Sister A is pure and innocent. What about you and Miss Lena? Clear and innocent. I understand. Trembling with soil, he slammed out the door, his eyes flashing with regret. Teacher, I'm sorry to you. What do you understand? Wuyue scratched her head and couldn't understand. At this moment, Vortex Jiuxinna emerged from his body, pointing to Wuyue and then to himself, and then clenched his little fist. Don't talk nonsense, we are already innocent. Wuyue spread out her hand and shook her head, saying, these days, there are always people who like to brain tease. Can't there be sincere friendship between men and women? Damn it. Jiuxinna twitched at the corner of her mouth and rolled her eyes at him. Then he opened the collar of his kimono and made a blood-spraying gesture. Defamation, you are slander. Wuyue sat up suddenly and exclaimed excitedly, I didn't crave your body. And now you are in a state of soul, with a damn body. Jiuxinna's expression suddenly became a bit stiff, and she looked at him with dangerous eyes. The wine-red hair flying behind indicates that the owner is on the brink of anger. Cough, okay. Wuyue raised her hand to surrender and said calmly, it's a bit greedy, but... Before she could finish speaking, Jiuxinna reached out and seemed to be about to hit someone, but in the end, she only touched his cheek. After half a year of symbiosis, the mutual understanding between the two has reached a level that others find difficult to understand. Jiuxinna's actions immediately made Wuyue know what she was thinking inside. Has sister made a decision yet? Jiuxinna didn't speak, just a smile curved from the corner of her mouth. The smile is soft and bright. Okay, I understand. Wuyue took a breath and nodded, we'll start tomorrow. He is actually quite proficient in transforming broken faces. In addition, with the technical support of blue dyeing and the bonus of jade collapse, accidents are unlikely to occur. But after all, this is my own sister, and Wuyue thinks we should be more cautious about the key points. Ask Jiuxinna to return to the Benjiu to rest, and he opens the group chat interface. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. At Hair Glue Hand Man, come out and die brother. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. In the early morning, where is this soul calling? Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Have a serious matter, be obedient. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Your business is not to do business, so your name should be changed to not to do business June. Sand Sculpture Group Leader, Shiyu Sauce, are you not afraid of being pouted when you scold the group leaders like this? Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Oh, I'm so scared. What should I do if you want to pout on me if you don't do anything serious? How terrifying. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Good guy, I see you're looking for your own way. Even if you beg for mercy, it won't work. If you don't pout until you roll your eyes, this matter won't be over. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Hee, I'm looking forward to it. Although appearing disdainful on the surface, Xia Zhiqiu Shiyu's face was about to smoke at this moment. Think about that scene, it's so embarrassing. The classmates next to her saw the expression on her face, and each one seemed to have seen a ghost. Why is the legendary jailing flower almost turning into a steam queen? Who the hell did it? Hair Gel Hand Man. I'm here, Wuyue Jun. What's up? Sand Sculpture Group Leader. I have something to do. I'll borrow your broken jade tomorrow. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Didn't you have it yourself? It was copied from the group. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. I want to break my face for sister, I'm afraid one won't be enough. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Sister. Juxinna. Are you finally starting to take action against the people around you, this guy? Wife control of perverts. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. What are you saying? We are pure and innocent, and the sun and moon can be observed. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Pooh. Hair Glue Hand Man. No problem. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Thank you, Brother Ran. I swear in the name of Uchiha. In the future, your business will be mine. When you need help, I will never frown. Violating this oath, my ancestor Yuzhi Bo Ban will be struck by lightning. Tip. Join the group with the small cotton jacket between the pillars. Poisonous Tongue Old Fat. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. The Man of Hair Gel Hands. 007 Black Tiger pays his heart, no ding ding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congratulations on joining the Sand Sculpture Netizens Exchange Group. Wishing you a pleasant chat. Listening to the conversation ringing in his mind, Uchiha's conscious body instinctively furrowed its brows and showed a pensive expression on its face. The place he is currently in is Pure Land. In the legend of the ninja realm, the soul that enters the Pure Land still has consciousness and can engage in activities. But this is actually all fabricated. After death, when entering the Pure Land, one will directly fall into a deep sleep. Yuzhi Bo Ban was also like this, but he was awakened by an inexplicable warning sound. The voice asked him if he wanted to join any chat group. With a curious mind, he agreed. Then he received a stream of information, which made him understand the various functions of this so-called chat group. Connected to all worlds, the existence of different worlds intersects. In this group, you can upload your own abilities and memories to earn points, or purchase the abilities and memories of others through points. All sorts of wonders are beyond his imagination. If there is a God in the world, then the existence that created this chat group is definitely the true God. Even surpassing the 6 immortals. After all, even the legendary 6 immortals can only make trouble in the realm of ninja. Yuzhi Bo Ban took a breath and looked around. Soul consciousness bodies float in the Pure Land space one by one, like fireflies flickering in the night sky. All other conscious beings have their eyes tightly closed, only his eyes open. I tried to move my conscious body, but found that I was bound by an invisible force and couldn't move at all. Uninteresting. Yuzhi Bo Ban thought to himself, giving up his struggle and turning his gaze to group chat. He began trying to send the message according to the previous system prompts. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Poisonous tongue old fat. The newcomer has spoken, at Sand Eagle Group Leader. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. I see it, no need to remind. Poisonous tongue old fat. Aren't you planning to say something? Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Cough, welcome newcomers. Since we are here, everyone is our own. But first, according to the convention of this group, let's introduce ourselves. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Self-introduction. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Yes, this will help you integrate into our group faster. The format of the introduction is also very simple, just summarize yourself briefly. Name, age, occupation, hobbies, spouse, and orientation. Poisonous tongue old fat. Orientation. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Shiyu sauce, do you have anything to add? Poisonous tongue old fat. No, it's nothing. She was originally thinking that asking someone to introduce her orientation might be a bit excessive, but suddenly she became interested. What would this Uchiha do to answer? Is his orientation male or female? Xia Jiqiu Shiyu also knows that his personality as a musician is a bit bad. But it's really fun. Sand Carving Group Leader. So, newcomer sauce, please start your performance. Hair Gel Hand Man. Your Excellency, should I add a life goal in my self-introduction? Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Cough, I agree. Ha ha ha. In reality, Wuyue was so funny that he couldn't help but laugh. He understood that Rango also wanted to have fun. What is Uchiha's life goal? Rango, who has already read Hokage memories, must know it. But unfortunately, at this moment, let someone speak up in the group. Isn't this a public punishment? Moreover, he deliberately changed the title of Wuyue Jun to Your Excellency, Group Leader, in order to prevent Uchiha from recognizing Wuyue's real identity. Black hands never leak, truly worthy of being dyed blue. Poisonous tongue old fat. I also agree, new sauce, please start. For some reason, Uchiha felt a subtle and peculiar atmosphere between the words and lines of these people. It can't be considered malicious, it's more like carrying some inexplicable expectation. But he couldn't understand what he really had to look forward to. It's really strange. Yuzhi Bo Ban furrowed his brows and began to ponder his reply. My name is Yuzhi Bo Ban, but I'm not sure about my exact age. Should the profession be a ninja? I don't have any special hobbies, I just don't like being with stupid guys. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. What else? Poisonous tongue old fat. You only talked about the most basic things, and didn't mention anything important. Spouse, orientation, and life goals. Are they not surprised by their own names, which means they are indeed not from the ninja realm? Yuzhi Bo Ban is very confident. If he were a person in the ninja world, he would definitely not have heard of his name as a ninja world cultivator. Judging from their plain behavior, it is evident that they were not surprised by their own names. This makes Uchiha believe that these people are by no means from the realm of ninja. He never expected that his online name had already revealed his identity. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. I don't have a spouse, and my orientation is also very normal. As for my life goal, it is to make the world I live in forever peaceful. Poisonous tongue old fat. What kind of answer is this? Just using a normal orientation is not enough. Xia Zhiqiu was greatly disappointed and felt that he had not received the answer at all. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Sha Diao group leader. The meaning of Jiuxinna is that what appears normal to you may appear abnormal to others. So, newcomers, please don't be slippery and answer this question directly. Is your orientation male or female? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Is there something wrong with you? Sand sculpture group leader. What's wrong? I don't think so. This is normal communication, Bansang. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Do you call this normal communication? Is this a normal communication posture when asking someone who has just met someone about their orientation? Is it abnormal for oneself to communicate in the realm of ninja? Hair glue hand man. We will be companions in the future. So, it is natural to consider comprehensively whether this companion is qualified. So this is indeed normal communication, Mr. Ban. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Yuzhi Bo Ban doesn't know what to say anymore. He felt that what this hair gel hand said made sense, but it seemed strange. Sand sculpture group leader. As long as the answer is male or female orientation. With Bansang's determination to bring world peace, shouldn't he feel embarrassed? Yuzhi Bo Ban couldn't hold back his violent temper. Would he feel embarrassed? Does he feel shy when he is in the Hall of Shura? Non-existing, reply directly. Female. Sand sculpture group leader. Isn't that right, Bansang? The name Junyang doesn't seem like a woman at all. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Where did you hear this name from? You're from the ninja world. Sand sculpture group leader. I swear in the name of my ancestors that I am not a person in the realm of ninja. Otherwise, my ancestors will be taken care of by black tigers and have no ding-ding. 008 I treat Bansang as if it were my ancestor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hiss. Seeing the message sent by this group leader, even Uchiha couldn't help but take a cold breath. Malicious. This oath is really vicious, and for some reason, he inexplicably feels a little empathy. Quickly dispelling this terrifying feeling in his mind, Uchiha sent a message. Master, do you have any grudges against your ancestor? He thinks he has a grudge, otherwise how could he swear with such malicious language? Sand sculpture group leader. How could it be? My ancestor is noble and upright, with unparalleled charm. My admiration for him is like a continuous flowing river. How could there be a grudge against him? Do you believe me? Ask everyone in the group. Poisonous tongue old fat. Cough, his ancestor is indeed a good person. Sand sculpture group leader. Jiuxinna, your tone is not firm. What does it mean to be a good person? His ancestors once let go of family grudges for the sake of their loved ones, concealed their names for the sake of faith, and even taught virtuous young people to see the dangers of society. Don't you be moved by such noble sentiments. Poisonous tongue old fat. Xiaoziqiu covers his face and doesn't know how to roast. The man of hair gel hands. It's really moving. I remember his final ending was to give up his own life in order to save an innocent mother. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Yes, our ancestors are too great. Bansang, what do you think? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. It sounds like a good person, but I think this kind of sacrifice for a so-called mother is just a small path. True love should embrace the whole world. For example, Uchiha himself, he feels that this kind of great love is working hard for world peace. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. What you said makes sense. Wuyue almost nods and smiles away. Is this Nima the legendary one who roast about himself? Sure, it's worthy of Bansang. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. But it seems that this has nothing to do with my previous question, right? Since the group leader is not from the ninja realm, why do they know the name Junyang? Sand Sculpture Group Leader. So, is there a possibility that you didn't notice your username? Network name. Yuzhi Bo Ban furrowed his brows and stared at the light curtain in front of him fiercely. Then, his eyes widened. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Is this my internet name? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Who made this damn username? Change it for me. Poisonous tongue old fat. That was matched by the group chat system itself, it's impossible to change. Look at me in Aizen, do you still have? Group leader, who is a normal username. Xia Zhiqiu was once furious over this despicable internet name, but now she has already worn it out. Anger is useless, it can't be changed anyway. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. What a bastard. Uchiha felt a great shame. What is the little cotton jacket between pillars? He is a great ninja cultivator, will he always display himself under this online name in the future? No, the current situation should be relatively good. These people only know their own names and do not know their identity in the ninja world. Speaking of which, the problem should not be significant. Mr. Ban, there is a question that I really want to know. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. What? Hair gel hand man. You should be in Pure Land now, how does your soul feel? The small cotton jacket between the pillars. You, how do you know? Hair gel hand man. Because you said you don't know your age. Based on my inference, your memory should have had some twists and turns. You woke up from a deep sleep, right? Poisonous tongue old fat. Perhaps they just don't want to expose their age. Hair gel hand man. It's possible, but I still believe my inference more. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. You are very smart. Based solely on a few words, one can infer that you should also be considered a person in your world, right? The man of the hair gel hand. Ordinary, just the captain of the 5th team. So, has Mr. Ban's current state been to cut off the link to the external demon statue and commit suicide? The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Yuzhi Bo Ban's face was full of confusion and disbelief. Why does this guy even know about the external demon statue? Is it also an inference? Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. It completely goes against common sense. Hair gel hand man. Is it difficult to understand? As long as you know the plot of Huiying, just make a slight guess. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. What kind of Hokage plot are you talking about? Hair glue hand man. The plot of Naruto. In the realm of ninja, Shura Uchiha is the god of ninja, the thousand-handed pillar. 6 immortals, the eye of reincarnation. Sons of fate, Naruto Vortex, and Sasuke Uchiha. Poisonous tongue old fat. And their beautiful mother. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Cough, don't make a fuss. Didn't you see that Brother Ran is talking about something serious? Don't interrupt. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Didn't you say you're not from the ninja world? Do you also not know about the affairs of the ninja realm? Yuzhi Bo Ban furrowed his brows and felt a sense of anger towards being deceived. Hair glue hand man. Your Excellency, the group leader did say that you are not a member of the ninja realm, but we did not say that you do not know anything about the ninja realm. If you don't believe it, you can flip through the chat records. Poisonous tongue old fat. Well, by the way, you can also take a look at the first box at the top of the memory area. After reading it, you should know the answers to many questions. Yuzhi Bo Ban took a breath and used his mind to jump to the memory area interface. The first box at the top is written with the 4 big characters Naruto. This is free memory, no points need to be spent. Yuzhi Bo Ban directly clicked to receive, and a stream of information instantly poured into his mind. From an immersive god's perspective, I watched the entire story of Naruto. Starting from the collection of tail beasts by the Shao organization, I was summoned out during the 4th Ninja World War. Then he became the 10-tailed pillar force, and finally was stabbed by Black Jew's back. The so-called Moon Eye plan, all of one's own efforts are actually making wedding clothes for others. Sorrow and indignation. At this moment, Uchiha only felt a deep sadness and anger lingering in his mind. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Bansang, are you okay? Actually, you don't have to feel discouraged about your life. After all, you already know the plot of Hokage now, don't you? Think about tomorrow, think about the future. Perhaps, there will be more desperate things waiting for you. Are you really looking forward to it? Poisonous tongue old fat. Bansang expressed gratitude for your comfort, he is already much better. And please don't comfort him anymore, that is the greatest kindness to him. Sand Sculpture Group Leader, how did you speak? Bansang is my dearest group member. My feelings for him are like those for my ancestors, strong, clear, and pure. Poisonous tongue old fat. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. The man of hair gel hands. 009 Bansang, you don't want to. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chuanziguo, conference room. Wuyue sat in the main seat, facing the representatives of the Kingdom of Sichuan in front of her. With a smile on her face and a gentle tone, she said, "We just finished discussing the placement of the Uchiha clan and the population development of the Kingdom of Sichuan. Do you have anything else to add?" "Leader, I have a question to ask," said the 6th elder of the Vortex clan, Vortex Palace Jia, raising his hand. "You said," Wuyue nodded. "Are we really going to put this in the newspaper?" Vortex Miyazaki trembled as he took out a sample of the newspaper in his hand, his face complex, and said, "It's a bit of a crime." Everyone turned their gaze to the headline of the newspaper, and their faces couldn't help but twitch. But it was written above. When the ninja god returned, he found his boyfriend being sold to a customs store. With one command, 100,000 ninjas joined in. Cough. Even Wu Yu's face was a bit unnatural, she tilted her head slightly and couldn't bear to look straight at her. "This is just a gimmick, the story inside is not real history. You should see a note on it that says please do not take your seat. Everyone present remained silent. Even if you write the annotations correctly. But with your title, everyone will find it right. This is the story of Qianshou Tsuehua and Yuzhibo Ban, with no other meaning." Wuyue explained solemnly, "The final interpretation belongs to this newspaper. Do you have any further questions?" "No, it's gone." Vortex Palace twitched at the corner of his mouth and let go of his hand. He truly witnessed today the extraordinary qualities of the leader of Wu Yu. Undoubtedly, they are the leaders who can write textbooks on the ideology of the Kingdom of Sichuan. They still have too much to learn. Since everyone has no problem, let's break up. Wuyue waved her hand and stood up. The sunset sets on the mountain, and the sun sets low. Wuyue returned to her home and happened to see Quan, who was full of worries, sitting on the sofa with a sad face. "What's up, still thinking about being a hot man?" Wuyue sat down next to this nominal sister and joked. Because they were originally family members, when the Uchiha clan moved over, Quan and her mother Meishue were also arranged to stay at Wuyue's home. No, he's not that kind of relationship at all. Quan rolled his eyes at him and said, I'm thinking about what I can do in the future. It seems like there's no need for ninjas here in the kingdom of Sichuan. The kingdom of Chuan doesn't need ninjas, Wuyue chuckled as she shook her head. We just don't need ninjas who only know how to kill. We need ninjas who can irrigate rice fields with water escape techniques, as well as ninjas who can build houses with earth escape techniques. But I only know how to escape fire. Why don't I arrange for you to enter the factory? Your hands are so beautiful, it's a pity not to tighten the screws. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue frowned and said, I always feel like you're deceiving me. How could it be? What is our relationship? Wuyue showed great righteousness. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue stared at him and asked, what does that vortex Lena have to do with you? Why does she have the key to her home? A pure and innocent work relationship, don't daydream. Wuyue reached out and patted her head, standing up. I'll go squint for a while, and when Mike Shueijio comes back, call me. That's Mom. You need to call Mom. Yuzhi Bo Wuyue patted his hand and gritted his teeth, saying, no big or small. Wuyue ignored him no longer and walked upstairs back to her room, locking the door behind her. I changed my clothes and walked in with a black hole. Appearing again, the vortex Rina is already waiting for him here. Unlike her daytime work clothes, Rina had already changed into a pink nurse outfit and sat by the bed. Seeing Wuyue appear, someone with a smile greeted her. Leader, it's time to replenish the demon. Wuyue, where did you go just now? During mealtime, Quan looked at his nominal younger brother with a puzzled expression. In the room, I fell asleep, Moyue replied vaguely, biting into the chicken chops in his bowl. It's impossible, I called you so loudly. Sleeping quite soundly, I've been a bit tired these past few days. I don't believe it. Quan, Wuyue is indeed very busy. Meishue next to her stopped her daughter's intention to continue speaking, and said softly, we need to worry about both the development of the country of Sichuan and the population growth of the country of Sichuan. This statement clearly implies something. As a newcomer, she is clearly the cat's play of her adopted son and his secretary. This makes her heart a bit complicated, and she still has a bit of a taste. It feels like a water spirit cabbage that I have worked hard to raise, but it has been stung by other sows. However, she never expected that the other party would quietly take control of the entire kingdom of Sichuan and build it so well. Now he has saved the entire Uchiha tribe with his own strength, which is a heroic feat. The child has grown up and become a truly capable and outstanding man. Thinking about the bold and ambitious words when the other person held her hand and said she would marry her mother when she grew up, Meishue couldn't help but feel a little lost. That should be a joke, right? Mike Shueijio is right. Wuyue didn't see the lost expression on Mike Shueijio's face, and his gaze was currently attracted by the interaction in the chat group. Poisonous tongue and old fat. Spotted mulberry. I asked you to burst the picture, but you look so lost that I don't know how to roast. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Do I still have to face the bleak life with a smile? It doesn't matter anymore. To others, the entire Naruto may be an inspirational tale of youthful passion, but to Bana it feels like an execution ground. After watching the plot of Hokage, his soul's consciousness was a bit depressed. Mr. Ban, are you willing to be bound by fate? Upon seeing this message, Wuyue was completely stunned and immediately understood that Rangu was about to start making efforts. This big hoodie from the corpse soul realm almost made the protagonist, Ichigo Kurosaki, limp. And this guy is still a pure-blooded musician. As long as he finds something interesting, he is even willing to work hard and pay a big price. Now, it is obvious that Rangu has set his sights on Uchiha. He noticed that Bans will seem somewhat depressed, which he didn't want to see. Watching a person in a low mood have fun, Aizen finds it uninteresting and uninterested. As the saying goes, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Watching fun is the same, only seeing people fighting high and striving upwards, but suddenly realizing that greater despair is brewing above their heads. That momentary sense of difference is what the musician most wants to see. So what Blue Dye needs to do now is to make Uchiha's waves stand out first. Only when he becomes more supportive will there be more interesting fun to watch. I have to say that Brother Ran is really a bad person, too bad. Taking a deep breath, Wuyue edited the message and sent it out. Bansang, you don't want to be separated from Zhujian forever in the future, do you? 010 Fish caught the bait. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Poisonous tongue old fat. As an old member of the group, Xia Zhiqiu was also quite familiar with Wuyue and Aizen, and instantly understood that these two guys were not genuinely trying to comfort Yuzhi Bo Ban. Judging from this posture, should we be planning to collude with each other and trick Yuzhi Bo Ban? What a pity, Bansang. As a companion in the group, all she can do for Uchiha now is remain silent. As for reminding Uchiha not to fall for it, Xia Zhiqiu never even thought about this question. She is a woman, how dare she ruin the good deeds of the group leader? And such an interesting thing, how could she possibly remind me? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. What do you mean? Sand sculpture group leader. It's not very interesting anymore. Bansang, have you forgotten what I said earlier? My respect for you is like that for my ancestors. I can't bear to see you so lethargic now. The message was sent out, and Wuyue drank the miso soup from the kochuan bowl and smacked her lips. Damn it, don't you have it yourself? Quan looked a little regretful. Your bowl is quite fragrant, Wuyue casually replied, ignoring Quan's murmurs and continuing to stare at the group chat in front of her. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. I don't have anything you need to admire. If it were a spot from the past, he might not feel anything wrong, but now he feels that the word admiration is a bit harsh. Sand sculpture group leader. Yes, there are too many. Bansang, the shining spots on your body are so dense that they almost blinded my eyes. Just like your confidence, unparalleled confidence in the world. Although I haven't even attended elementary school, I have to think about how to make world peace a philosophical issue. With this confidence, my group leader is willing to call you the strongest. Poisonous tongue old fat. Puff. Xia Zhiqiu almost sprayed milk tea from his mouth, so he could only cover his mouth and work hard to hold back his smile. This month without a moon, sometimes speaking is really insidious. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. I heard it, you're mocking me, right? Sand sculpture group leader. How could that be? This is a longing. The man of hair gel hands. Longing is the farthest distance from understanding. Sand sculpture group leader. Brother Ran, you suddenly came up with this line, it's a bit confusing for me. Hair glue hand man. Let's talk about the matter, your longing is not about understanding spots. Only by letting go of this longing can you truly understand Ban. Sand sculpture group leader. Ah, is that so? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. I don't need your understanding. Especially you, Sosuke Blue Dye. The mastermind behind the corpse soul realm, the lord of the void circle. A guy like you didn't think from the bottom of his heart about letting others understand you. Sha Diao group leader. No, Ran Gu is actually a very nice person. He just disdains to communicate with those who don't understand him, but once he can communicate, he is still very righteous. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Master, I advise you not to be deceived by him. People like Sosuke Aizen will not truly understand anyone. I won't let anyone truly understand him either. What he shows is nothing but his disguise. Sand sculpture group leader. Hiss, is it so terrifying? Wuyue almost laughed and lost his breath. Since watching Hokage, it seems that this Uchiha has a tendency to be persecuted and delusional. But I can also understand. After all, he was deeply injured by the blackmail in the anime original, and he has an instinctive fear of this hidden sixth type of black hand. And if you only watch the plot of Death anime, very few people really understand Aizen. But the truth is, Aizen doesn't want to make friends. However, most people cannot truly understand him. I have developed a solitary personality since childhood, and as I grow up, this loneliness becomes even more pronounced. But his means of concealing emotions are very powerful, and ordinary people only think of him as gentle, so they do not see the hidden Senhon blade behind this softness. Simply put, Aizen was extremely lacking in love when she was a child, but as she grew up, she developed emotional abnormalities. I want to make friends, but I'm afraid the other person won't accept my true self. So let's just give up, flatten the world, and then shape a brand new world that we want. Why does Wuyue know these things? Because he has seen all the memories of Aizen. Hair glue hand man. I see, it seems that Mr. Ban has a deep prejudice against me. The small cotton jacket between the pillars. Prejudice. That's not a prejudice, it's just a little insight into you, Sosuke Blue Dye. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Mom, Bansang. When did you become a master of human nature? Is it because I watched a movie called Hokage that I woke up to a new profession? Grass, is this too divine? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Shut up, you group leaders really don't have any sense of crisis. Even though you know what kind of guy this Aizen is, how dare you let him talk nonsense? Wuyue couldn't hold her breath this time, and the corner of her mouth twitched. Bansang, do you want to see what she said? Rangu is indeed the mastermind behind the corpse soul realm. Is it true that what you Bansang did in the ninja realm was noble? At that moment, Uchiha's expression on his face was a bit awkward. I'm different from him. Poisonous tongue old fat. That's quite true. He has at least been a teacher in Aizen, and you haven't even attended elementary school. In the end, he pitifully turned into a tool man and used it as fertilizer for his black old mother. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Shut up, you stupid girl who didn't even grab a man. Poisonous tongue old fat. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Am I wrong, Shiyu of Zyazikyu? In the end, Annihilation also chose the Kato Hui bar, which is really a pity. If I guess correctly, your mood after watching your own ending must not be wonderful, right? Poisonous tongue old fat. Thank you, I'm doing very well. Zyazikyu Shiyu's eyelids trembled. Unbelievable, she was mocked by an old monster from the world of ninjas. If she really likes Annihilation, she's probably going crazy now. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. Do you force a smile? What an ugly expression. Poisonous tongue old fat. Ah, yes, you were so handsome when Black Tiger took heart. Yuzhi Bo Ban instantly broke through the defense and felt a bit hesitant to speak. However, the term Black Tiger hearts out made him somewhat familiar, as if he had seen it somewhere before. Hair gel hand man, don't you want revenge, Ban? The little cotton jacket between the pillars. What do you mean? Hair gel hand man. You are now bound by the rules of Pure Land, and there are only two ways to break the game. Reincarnated from the filth of others and returning to the realm of suffering, or becoming the god of death. Sand Sculpture Group Leader. Let me think about it, the rebirth of filthy soil is a bit awkward. You don't know how long until the Fourth World War, do you have to wait in the air for several years? Can you bear to let Black Jew be carefree and happy for several years? Sending a message, Wuyue opened her mouth in unison. Next to Quan, with a disdainful expression on his face, he picked up a chicken chop with chopsticks and put it in his mouth, then turned his head away, not wanting him to see his red cheeks. Poisonous tongue old fat. Indeed. Xia Zhiqiu has now decided to participate in the front line of King Yuzhibo. If this guy dares to mock himself, then don't blame himself for falling into the trap. Hair gel hand man. Your points should not be able to buy spiritual pressure. But it's okay, I can upload a shallow hit for you, and you can try to understand the power of death. The little cotton jacket between the pillars. What price do I have to pay? Yuzhi Bo Ban was tempted, he really wanted revenge. He couldn't accept letting He Ju enjoy himself outside for a few years.